One of the big questions surrounding this massive hospital behind me is who will foot the $125 million hefty bill for this hospital and the one in Grand Turk, and how will those payments be made? Well, the Turks and Caicos government will have to find millions of dollars once these hospitals are operational, which could prove to be a very complex task with the current financial state of the country. The contract between the government and InterHealth Canada has three elements: facilities management, clinical services, and the emergency overseas treatment program. After 25 years of the hospitals being owned and managed by InterHealth Canada, under the facilities management element, its equipment and both buildings will belong to the Turks and Caicos government. Meanwhile, the company has borrowed and otherwise allotted monies to build and equip the hospitals, retain and upgrade their equipment. The Turks and Caicos government will be solely responsible for refunding these costs through their facilities management contractual agreement with InterHealth Canada. In a press statement issued by the governor's office, quote, "Unlike a government-funded scheme where all the capital costs are incurred up front, TCIG will pay only a monthly sum. The amounts payable to InterHealth Canada for this facilities management contract were established about 2 years ago and will shortly be updated to take account of inflation, etc. They are currently estimated to be under $2 million per month. These payments are expected to begin in January as the hospitals begin their commissioning phase. The National Health Insurance Plan, however, will intervene in the clinical services contract, essentially taking on the costs estimated to be at $2 million per month. This second element of the agreement between TCIG and InterHealth Canada will cover clinical expenses such as employee salaries and medicine costs. The NHIP, in conjunction with InterHealth Canada, will also manage the Emergency Overseas Treatment Program, or EOTP, which will cost less than $1 million a month. This the government will pay. That figure is subject to change, however, as the accessibility of the program in the TCI remains unclear and the demand for the treatment is unpredictable. Now, what surprisingly came out of the press statement from the governor's office is that with these two new modern hospitals, there will be substantial savings compared to previous years. This because the hospitals will employ considerably fewer doctors and other staff, which means that those currently employed at TCI's public hospitals could be jobless. The press statement went on to say, quote, "There are a number of checks and balances built into the contract in order to ensure value for money for the TCI taxpayer. TCIG will have access on an open book basis to clinical service and facilities management costs throughout the life of the contract. There will also be a process called value testing, which allows TCIG to have the full range of facilities, both clinical and facilities management, subjected to a value and/or market testing exercise every 5 years. This mechanism will allow TCIG to confirm or adjust the pricing mechanisms and, if the evidence so suggests, find another provider for one or both of the contracts." The statement went on to say that it is therefore possible that InterHealth Canada could lose the facilities management contract or the clinical services contract, or both, following every 5-year value test. At the Providenciales Hospital, for WIV4 News, I'm Nikira John.